It was just past midnight when Jason was jolted awake by a faint sound. Tap, tap, it was soft, almost rhythmic, coming from the window. He froze in bed, straining his ears, his heart thumping against his ribs. It's probably just a branch, he told himself, scraping against the glass in the wind. Or maybe a bird that got lost in the dark. See. He rubbed the sleep from his eyes and squinted at the window. The city lights cast a faint glow on the pane. And then he saw it. Not something outside, but something inside the reflection. His own reflection was moving. It was subtle at first, just a slight turn of the head when he was perfectly still. Then, it smiled, a slow, wide grin that stretched from ear to ear, while Jason's own face was a mask of confusion. He blinked hard, and just like that, it was gone. His reflection was normal again, mirroring his every move, his every worried glance. He shook his head, trying to clear the cobwebs of sleep. I must be imagining things, he thought, just a waking dream. He crawled back under the covers, pulling them up to his chin, and eventually drifted back into a restless sleep. 2 nights later, the feeling of being watched returned, but this time it was worse. The reflection wasn't just subtly moving anymore. It had stopped copying him altogether. It stood there in the glass, perfectly still, just watching him. Tone. Every time he turned his back, he felt its eyes burning into his neck, a cold, prickling sensation that made his skin crawl. And sometimes, he'd catch it out of the corner of his eye, moving a fraction of a second before he did. A pre-echo, a terrible, impossible warning. Jason couldn't take it anymore. Tried, covering the windows, first with curtains, then with heavy blankets, and finally, with pieces of cardboard taped to the frames. He plunged his apartment into darkness, but it didn't help. The reflection was no longer confined to the window. It appeared on every single glass surface. The bathroom mirror, his phone screen, the blank TV, it was always there. Always watching, always, smiling that same silent, unnerving smile. It was waiting, but for what? One night, pushed to the edge of his sanity, he stood before the living room window, staring at the doppelganger that wore his face. His voice was a hoarse whisper, cracking with fear. Who are you? The thing in the reflection tilted its head, a gesture he didn't make, a voice, not his own, but something raspy and ancient. Whispered back from the glass, the sound seeming to come from everywhere at once. You've been here long enough, it hissed. It's time to stay. Suddenly, the lights in the apartment flickered violently, before going out completely. The room grew impossibly cold, an icy chill that sank deep into his bones. Panic seized him. Jason spun around and sprinted for the front door. He fumbled with the lock, his fingers numb and clumsy. And finally threw it open, slamming it shut behind him and twisting the deadbolt. He leaned against the door, gasping for air, his heart hammering in his chest. When he finally dared to turn around, his blood ran cold. The reflection wasn't in the window anymore. It was standing behind him, in the middle of the room. Jason never truly slept again. He existed in a waking nightmare. Every reflective surface he passed now showed to Jason's. One, his own terrified self. The other, a smiling, silent twin that stood just beside him. But then he noticed something even more horrifying. Something that sealed his fate. Wherever he looked, his reflection now blinked first. 2 weeks later, the neighbors started to notice things. Strange noises coming from Jason's apartment. A soft, chilling laughter that echoed in the hallways. The sound of footsteps when no one should have been there. And a single, inviting voice, whispering from every polished doorknob, every darkened window, every phone screen left on the counter. Come play with me. Forever.